Hi Aquarius, welcome to your monthly scopes. Please keep in mind this is only a general reading, so take what it feels right and with what resonates with your own life experiences at the moment. So for the monthly scopes, I'll be using the spread called the Flying Bird, which is a spread that intends to bring to awareness the energy you may be going towards the month of May. So Aquarius, I've been sensing for a couple of weeks that you are stuck in some kind of situation. You're dealing with an inner struggle, inner duality. This could strongly suggested that it's about love or relationships, but it could also just be the way you deal with your own emotions. You deal with your own emotional body and self. And I've been picking up this for you for a couple of weeks, even with the weekly readings. So it's interesting that in the month of May, you're still dealing with it, and maybe you'll finally get some closure in it, because this also seems to have some kind of root with the past situation. But let's break it down. So the departure or the here and now card is the Two of Clouds or schizophrenia. So yeah, you begin the month trying to deal with your own duality, with the choices you need to make, but you're avoiding to because you don't know which direction to go. You don't know which road to take, because it seems like no matter what decision you make, you'll be losing something that you hold dear and that it's important to you. And that may be true, but you also have to realize that many times, in order for us to find some solace and some growth, we need to make those decisions, even though knowing that we may lose something that we hold dear at the moment. If it's truly ours, it will not go away. It will come back to us in the right time. But maybe to it's a time to realize that it's not about what you're gonna lose. It's about what you're going to win and which direction at this moment, because you have to live in the present moment and not worry about the future that you don't know if will ever come. It's about you acknowledging which direction will bring you at this time, at this exact moment, the joy and the happiness and the fulfillment you are looking for in whichever situation or area of your life. So you begin the month trying to cope, trying to deal with choices, with the crossroads you're in some sense. This could be only a mental battle within yourself, where you're trying to uh, focus on one direction, but you keep being pulled at a different one, and you're trying just to balance and to juggle and to implement some decision, but you are unconsciously avoiding it because you are afraid to lose. But you cannot lose. You cannot lose. Well, you just need to awake your heart. You need to awake where your heart truly lies, on those decisions, on that crossroad, on that road you need to take. The fear of flying, or the resistance card to the flight, is breakthrough. So you're resisting to implement that amazing new awakened sense of strength, of sensuality, of emotional intensity that is wanting to spring forward and to break through, pierce through all your walls. And Aquarius can rise a lot of walls when they want to, and it's about you just releasing, like this woman in the card. She's just like, it's like a volcano erupting, and she's letting all her intensity break her through and release her to the stagnation point she was. And many times, in order for us to have this breakthrough, we have to go through a breakdown. And the breakdown is just part of the process. So again, I think you are not the fear. That's why this is the fear of flying, because you are stuck in a duality. You are stuck in a crossroads, and you don't know what decision to take. You don't know which way to go. And this card is suggesting that you're just afraid of the loss. You're afraid of what you're going to lose, and you're not having the sight of what you will win, which is this beautiful, amazing, awakened self, where you just live much more in touch with your desires, your strong sexual uh, desires. This is a very strong card that talks about raw emotions. So you need to find the advice is for you to allow the breakdown, allow yourself to fall here. Immediately in the fall, you will realize where your heart should realize, and then you'll have this amazing explosions, like the fireworks. They are they are they can scare us because they are so intense and explosive, but they they have this beautiful colors that color the night, that color the sky, that no one else can replace, no one else can give. So it's about you really having the strength, the courage. We'll go there because the next card is the courage. Having the courage to um, live through your own passions, to go in the direction of your own passions, not being ashamed of them, not wanting to be so cerebral, so rational, so thoughtful about every single thing you feel. Just feel it, just do it. It's impulse, it's instinct, it's raw instinct. Um, the response to that fear is courage. So know that even in the hard times, in the hardest, harshest times, there's still always a promise of a seed, a promise of something growing, something flowering out of the hardship. So it's about you having enough courage to make that breakthrough happen, to make that release, that liberation process amazingly beautiful. Bring that firework to your life, to yourself, to your relationships, to your goals, to your ambitions, to whatever this applies to. Just bring that firework, that raw, amazing, beautiful energy that wants to come out of you, because that energy becomes stagnant, the consequence farther away will be much more harder to deal with, because then it will be out of proportion. When you explode with that energy, it will be out of proportion and will have consequences that surely you won't desire to. That's why it's advising you to do now, to have the courage to do it now, because you'll do it in a much more conscious way. You'll know why that is happening, why you're needing to do that, and you'll feel much more at peace. It's like you achieve this climax point, and then you have that release moment, and it's amazingly, it's just a relief. It's a relief, and you feel much more in tune and in touch with yourself. And also because you were brave and you had the courage to do so, to keep being truthful to what you feel and what you want to do, and not let yourself uh, be down or be beat down by no matter what is going on in your life that may be um, blocking you in some way or causing that anxiety of not knowing which direction to go. So again, the advice to overcome that fear of breakthrough is to have courage, to be this flower growing in the middle of this stone, where the stone doesn't have any fertile ground, but still she has such an amazing potential of life that she found a way to survive and to grow in the stone with no nurture from anything but herself. So that's a very strong message for you to have courage. The intuition. And you have a lot of major arcana cards. So it seems a pretty big month for change. The intuition card is change, or the wheel of fortune. So the intuition again is to go with the events that are going on in your life right now. Don't try to resist it. Don't try to think it through too much. Acknowledge that the cycle, time has the cycles of time. They have this wisdom of bringing us important lessons for our growth, important people to some kind of self-realization, as well as they take them away um, for also some kind of self-realization that if they were still in your life, you wouldn't be having it. So whatever happens in the month of May, let yourself be guided by it. Don't try to resist it. Don't try to think it. Don't try anything. Just flow, feel, uh, watch without judgment, without rational thought on it, and that will rise your intuition. The more you let yourself be spinning around in this wheel, the more you start seeing things happening and not trying to control them, not trying to do really anything about it. Your intuition will rise to a point where you'll have this sense of timing. You'll have this sense of being the right time, that things happening in the right exact time as they should, and things working, not to try to make your life miserable in some sense, but to try for you to see how the wheel of life works and how everything has its own cycle and its own timing, and it's so important to be aware of it, to be much more in present with your own self at the present moment. So the intuition and to let the events of life during the month of May happen without trying to be too much identified or attached to the results, because everything happening during the month of May is happening at the right time. Even if you see it, if you perceive it as a negative events, they have a really strong purpose of growth in your life at this moment, even if you don't want to acknowledge, because it may take something away or bring something out of the blue and unexpected that you need to adjust and adapt. The intelligence response to that intuition is the Lovers. So, letting yourself be guided by the events of life, not trying really to resist it, to control it, to overanalyze it. Maybe your intelligent response will just be to love fully, openly, unconditionally, without judgment, without the whys and the shoulds and the wants and the needs. Just loving it because you have your heart open to it, because you know that the love is pouring out of yourself. You stop building those walls, you stop trying to analyze and focus so much in the whys, and just love. This could also mean that maybe this change that is rising in the month of May, or this breakthrough, or this courage you're needing to implement, is to love, is to let yourself, and also because in the weekly readings, this has shown up for you. It's a theme that's have been showing up a lot. So maybe you this month of May you'll be tested to finally, once and for all, open your heart, love, let yourself pour out into this feeling of belonging, of partnering up with someone, or just to the idea of love in a complete renewed way. It's a breakthrough that is happening. So you're just having this sudden awakening and realization that maybe the way you have received love or gave love until this moment was not the right way, and you're starting to acknowledging all these patterns, all these situations, and you come to a point where you let yourself love and be loved without those walls of defenses, without that isolation state of not wanting to share um, your intimate self. So I think intelligent response to that change, that intuition, is just to if someone shows up in your life is to test you right now. If someone shows up during the month of May, or if there has been a relationship that is testing you until this moment, and the month of May may be the point of culmination where you just will be tested and forced in some way to be confronted to the lessons you need to learn about relationships and about love, because it's a theme that has been following you, and the month of May may be very well be culmination point, again, that breakthrough wanting to happen, and you just trying to control it and tame it in that duality, that schizophrenia state of mind. You're not sure what to do, but it's about you letting it happen. Whatever happens during the month of May, let it happen. Let it yourself be guided by it, because your intuition is connected with those changes, and respond to it with love. Respond to it with a new awakening sense of what love means to you specifically. The relaxation and acceptance card is dream. So maybe you need to relax and accept the illusions, the over expectations, the projections of your fantasies, of your fairy tales, projected onto someone else, projected onto some circumstance, and you need to relax and accept that that is a fantasy, and that is a dream, and that real relationships and real love imply much more much more not so pretty and charming attributes, because they imply hard work, they imply discipline, they imply merging with all the aspects of ourselves and other, and that can bring a lot of baggage, a lot of shadows, a lot of things we wish we wouldn't have to deal with. And that's many times our relationships fail, because when we see the dark aspects of someone, which usually is a mirror for our own dark aspects, we begin to spin in this sense of, this is not what I dreamed of, this is not my idealization of love, this was not my expectation of you, I thought you were this, blah, 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 blah. So you need to relax and accept this month is maybe something is happening that was not part of this dream, that was not part of this fantasy you were uh, focusing on, or dealing with, or having until this moment, maybe for a lifetime, and you are becoming aware of the illusions of the fantasies you have been dragging upon your life and your relationships. So you need to relax and accept that the things happening during the month of May may be out of the dream, maybe out of the expectation and the fantasy and the fairy tale, but that has an important lesson of growth for you, which is to acknowledge um, what is real in your life, and that love and relationships are much more than a dream, are much more than fantasy. And sometimes dealing with the real aspects and the real attributes of someone is what makes the dream. It's what makes the story of love a fairy tale. Finally, the arrival of a new state of awareness is clinging to the past. So all this spread of wings will ultimately lead for you to release a lot of baggage from the past, to release a lot of attachments, to release a lot of things that no longer serves you and were keeping you to move forward into the present and live fully in the present moment. or this could be relationships from the past that you were just clinging it to so much because you were thinking they were part and they were they were in tune with this fantasy, this dream, but really they were not, and that may be shown to you in the month of May, and that's why you learn uh, how to release the past and how to let old stories, old situations, old traumas, old feelings go, because you realize they are only an attachment of the past and a fear of the unknown and a fear of relating, of loving, of wanting in a complete new way. So this card is also about overcoming the sense of negative feelings, the sense of crying over spilled milk, of sorrow, of regret, anything that has a connection with the past that you may be dragging into this moment will probably find a way, if you work with this energy, to be released and ultimately to bring you the space for that breakthrough to happen. But you are being asked to have courage to do so. To don't let that energy get to a point of complete or explosion where the consequences will be much more hard to deal with. Just consciously let that energy go, release from the past, and learn to love in a complete new way. If love comes into your life, let it come, accept it, learn with it, taste it. If love walks out of your life, do exactly the same. This is kind of the message, and let yourself be guided with the intuition of you just accepting what life and the universe offers you and what life and the universe takes away from you, because it's bringing room for something new. So Aquarius, I hope you have a great month. Thank you for listening, liking, subscribing. It really means a lot to me. And we'll see each other in the next video.